Hello friends, welcome to Read With Me. Today we are continuing our Mr. Putter and Tabby book series with Mr. Putter and Tabby Walk the Dog. The author is Cynthia Rylant and it is illustrated by Arthur Howard. And as you all know, we love Mr. Putter and Tabby books at our house. So let's begin. Chapter 1, The Lollipop. Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby lived next door to Mrs. Teaberry and her small dog, Zeke. Look, Tabby's up in the tree and Zeke is trying to chase that squirrel. He is pulling on his leash. Mrs. Teaberry sometimes gave Mr. Putter eggplant for his supper, and Mr. Putter sometimes gave Mrs. Teaberry kiwis for her lunch. They were very happy living side by side. One day, Mrs. Teaberry slipped on a kiwi and hurt her foot. Mr. Putter and Tabby took her to the doctor. Look at her, she slipped on a kiwi and there went her fruit salad. The doctor said, "This foot needs a rest. No walking Zeke for a week." "No walking Zeke for a week?" cried Mrs. Teaberry. "But who will walk my little lollipop?" She always called Zeke her little lollipop. Then Mr. Putter, who had a very soft heart, said, I will walk your little lollipop." Mrs. Teaberry was happy, but she was a little worried. "I hope he doesn't tug," she said. "Oh no," said Mr. Putter, "Zeke won't tug." "I hope he doesn't wrap around trees," she said. "Oh no," said Mr. Putter again, "Zeke won't wrap." Mrs. Teaberry is getting worried about Zeke. "And I hope he doesn't chase other dogs," she said finally, "especially the big ones." "Oh no," said Mr. Putter for the last time. "Zeke is a good dog." "Zeke is a fine dog." Mr. Putter looked at the little lollipop. "Zeke is a dream dog," Mr. Putter said with a smile. Look, everybody's looking at Zeke. 2. The nightmare. Do you think Zeke is a dream dog? I think he's naughty. Zeke was a nightmare. The first day Mr. Putter and Tabby took him for a walk, he tugged. He tugged and tugged and tugged. He tugged Mr. Putter and Tabby through yards and creeks. Look, he's taking them through the sprinkler and over the creek and houses they had never been through before. All the people are watching them, wondering who they are. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and pudding and a nap. Zeke exhausted them. "Zeke is not a dream dog," Mr. Putter said to Tabby when they woke up. "Zeke is a nightmare." The second day they took him for a walk, Zeke wrapped around trees. He wrapped around an elm tree. He wrapped around a pine tree. He wrapped around a pear tree. And he always wrapped Mr. Putter and Tabby with him. Look, he has Mr. Putter and Tabby wrapped to the tree. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and popovers and a nap. "Zeke is not a dream dog," Mr. Putter said to Tabby when they woke up. "Zeke is a nightmare." Zeke is terrible on walks. The third day, Zeke chased dogs. And he didn't chase little ones. He chased big ones. He chased a Russian wolfhound. He chased a Great Dane. He chased a St. Bernard. Watch Mr. Putter, he's flying behind Zeke. He chased them until they got bored with being chased. Everybody's exhausted. Then they turned around and chased Zeke and Mr. Putter and Tabby. Look at all the dogs chasing Mr. Putter and Tabby. The big dogs chased them through yards and creeks and houses they had never been through before. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and shortbread and a nap. "Zeke is not a dream dog," Mr. Putter said to Tabby when they woke up. "Zeke is a nightmare." And the two of them sat a long time wondering what to do. They weren't sure they could live through 4 more days with the lollipop pup. They don't think they can take him to walks anymore. They'll be too tired. Chapter 3, The Dream Dog. I wonder what they're going to do. Here's the deal, Zeke, Mr. Putter said on the 4th day. You be a good dog, and every day after our walk, you'll get a nice surprise. Do you think Zeke will be good? Zeke was a smart dog. He knew what a deal was. The 4th day, he didn't tug, he didn't rap, and he didn't chase. He was a dream dog. Look, Zeke is behaving himself. So Mr. Putter and Tabby took him to the Frosty Freeze. Zeke had a hot fudge sundae with extra cherries. The 5th day, Zeke didn't tug, and he didn't rap, and he didn't chase. He was a dream dog. Again, look how nicely Zeke is walking. So Mr. Putter and Tabby took him to the swimming pool. He jumped off the diving board 15 times. On the 6th day, Zeke was a dream dog, and he went to the carnival. Look, Zeke in the funny mirror scared Tabby. On the 7th day, Zeke was a dream dog, and he went to the zoo. When Mr. Putter and Tabby took Zeke home for the last time, Mrs. Teaberry asked, "Was Zeke a good lollipup?" And Mr. Putter, who had brought her pecans instead of kiwis, smiled the biggest smile. He said Zeke was a dream lollipup. He was after he offered him a deal, and I think it's funny he brought her pecans so she can't trip on them like she did the kiwi. He doesn't want to walk Zeke anymore. Then he and Tabby said goodbye and went home and had a party. I think they're having a party because they don't have to walk Zeke anymore. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as we did. Please consider giving me a thumbs up on this video and subscribing. And if you've already done that, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Until next time.